Thank you very much. Here we are then at Stamford Bridge. They've just turned the floodlights up to their maximum values after just dipping it down for the theatrical entrance of the two teams. Chelsea, 1 win in 5 league matches. Manchester United have lost 3 of their last 5 league games. We've talked about the chase for the top 4, possibly the top 5 to get into Champions League football next season. Whatever's going to happen about that race, both of these teams have to massively improve and get more consistency in their performances. Some surprises in the starting lineups, as we said earlier. Chelsea with the 3 changes from their draw at Leicester. Abraham's out with an ankle injury. Michy Batshuayi, first league start this season. Kovacic preferred to mount, extra muscle in midfield there then, and Willian replaces Hudson-Odoi. Caballero, as we've just heard, preferred in goal again. Manchester United 3 changes. The draw with Wolves, they go with a back 3. Bailly, his first game of the season, he had 1 start in the whole of 2019. Serious knee problems over the last 18 months for him. He replaces Lindelof. So Luke Shaw will play at left centre back. Brandon Williams comes in for Pereira. He'll play left wing back, we think. And Nemanja Matic returns from suspension against his old side. Juan Mata drops down to the bench. Also back at Stamford Bridge, Odion Ighalo is on the bench for them. Chelsea then, Caballero in goal, and then you've got James, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, in midfield Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, Willian Batshuayi and Pedro. And Manchester United, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka the right wing back, Brandon Williams the left, Bailly, Maguire and Shaw, Matic and Fred, Bruno Fernandes ahead of them. Then the split forwards, Daniel James and Martial. Manchester United in the red and white will kick off and kick us off and on away from left to right in this first half. And it is a breezy, rather chilly West London evening, but we are, after all, in February, and it is an English winter. And off we go. A vital game for both. Frank Lampard says it's a must-not-lose game. If Manchester United lose, as we've been talking about, Chris, I think their hopes of finishing top 4 will be seriously diminished.
Yeah, that would be a hefty blow. Huge game tonight. 2 former champions. I think it's fair to say both teams who have lost their way a little bit, but so much at stake. I think Chelsea have had an okay start to the season, being in 4th. They'll want that Champions League place.
Long ball from the left-hand side of the Manchester United defence, looking for James coming in off the right-hand side. Chelsea get it away and bring the ball down in midfield, and it's swung away by Jorginho to the left side of the defence and picked up by Azpilicueta, who said just before the winter break that they haven't made Stamford Bridge the fortress they need to do. It hasn't been a particularly good home season for Chelsea, and they push the ball innocuously out of play onto the far side. That's their right. Jorginho misplacing his pass between Willian and James, and it slips away for a United throw.
Yeah, it's a sloppy pass, but you're absolutely right, Jonathan. They've lost to the likes of Southampton and Bournemouth and West Ham. Wouldn't have expected that. United, of course, beat them here in the Carabao Cup. Same system, which is interesting. Had the option to go with a back 4. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but elected that back 3, and we can see the wing backs, Williams and Wan-Bissaka, just pushing on.
The ball is cleared away by Caballero. Harry Maguire is there for Manchester United, just to slip it back to Shaw. Not the first time he's played left side of a centre-back trio this season, and indeed they used the centre-back trio when they won here in the Carabao Cup in October. Last team to win twice away at Chelsea in the same season, Liverpool in 2011-2012. Rudiger wins it back for Chelsea and stabs it into the Manchester United half, and it's a first touch then for Bailly, and a rusty touch too, and he's given it straight to Pedro, advances to the edge of the penalty area. Pedro, the Spaniard, wearing the fluorescent orange boots, back to Azpilicueta, so consistent over the years. Azpilicueta rarely misses a game, and he's having his best ever scoring season, but that attack comes to nothing, and Manchester United will clear it away to James. Quick to bounce on him was Jorginho. It's a throw to Manchester United, deep inside their own half.
Yeah, just a little bit sloppy from Bailly. Needs to get up to match speed. Hasn't played an awful lot of football, trying to step out too casual, and Pedro nicked it off him. Dangerous situation.
An awful lot of football coming your way on 5 Live this week. I'll tell you about it in a moment. Here's Brandon Williams out to Martial. Another sloppy pass halfway inside the Chelsea half on the right hand side. Gave it straight to young Reece James. Such a powerful runner, the 20-year-old. And Chelsea have possession inside their own half. They've lost just one of their last 17 Premier League home matches against Manchester United. They're unbeaten in 6 in this fixture, but it's a Manchester United red shirt advancing to the ball on this near side. The United right-hand side, it's Harry Maguire, and it's gone out of play. Maguire immediately appealed for a throw-in. The referee had a think, had a look, and then Anthony Taylor gave the throw Manchester United's way. Chelsea were protesting a little bit about that. Tomorrow we have Atletico Madrid against Liverpool, the return of Champions League football for you with Johnny Murray and Stephen Warnock. Wednesday, Spurs against Leipzig for you, Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle, the dangerous duo. And Manchester City against West Ham is on 5 Live Sports Extra. And the ball is out of play for a Chelsea throw-in. Just a quick word here. Chelsea starting with Batshuayi up front, first league start. What does Giroud have to do to get a chance in the starting lineup for Chelsea?
Yeah, spot on, but it's been the faith in Tammy Abraham this season, hasn't it, really? But Giroud, I still think he has good qualities.
Tammy Abraham is here watching on from down in the Chelsea technical area. Misses out with an ankle injury. Gareth Southgate is here watching on, and they could do with a powerful header in the United box. This fixture has been won on many occasions by players who are superlative in the air in the Manchester United.
Here we go.
I remember one terrific headed goal by Chris Sutton in this fixture.
Yeah, it's prolific in this fixture for Chelsea.
How many, was that half of your Chelsea goals in your entire career here?
It's a good move from United, that.
Here's a Cavaliero.
Why don't you leave off?
You've been slaughtering me all night. Here's Cavaliero now for Chelsea to get it away. Up to the halfway line. So many talking points. Cavaliero preferred to Kepa again. Here's Azpilicueta to drive the ball, centre circle. Kante swivels and gets it away to the right. Pedro stayed down for Chelsea. Recipient of that hefty change, holding his rib cage. Chris is okay, he's up on his feet. Willian comes in from the right hand side. What will his future be with having Ziyech arriving from Ajax in the summer? This is a strong run now by Kovacic for Chelsea to the left hand side, between the box and the left hand touchline. Azpilicueta in the blue shirt of Chelsea and the red boots to Kovacic, who swings it away to the right hand side, and James arrives and gets his shot away, and not far wide, but David De Gea's right hand post it was. It's a goal kick and a promising move.
It's a really decent strike from James. It's a powerful run from Kovacic down the left hand side, and he whips the ball across the area to James, who takes one touch out of his feet, and on the half volley hits a shot, and I tell you, it is inches wide of De Gea's right hand post, not far away at all.
Two of the game's most promising English right backs in the Premier League on display today. Wan-Bissaka of Manchester United and James of Chelsea. It's Manchester United in possession, and it's just worked inside to the centre of midfield, where it was really looked after properly by Bruno Fernandes. Such a big money signing, so much expected of him, and he has to hit the ground running, really, as Chris was saying earlier. Now Williams down the line for Manchester United. Martial between the box and the far touch line, and he's forced a corner kick of Christensen, who went out there wide to guard him, and it's Manchester United's first corner kick of the game. And we've been playing just a few minutes here at Stamford Bridge, and George, the producer's not turned his stopwatch on, Chris. Unbelievable. There it is, 6.5 minutes. Well done, gorgeous George.
One job.
That's it. And it's Manchester United who get the cross in from Shaw. Barcelona penalty. One eye headed down across the 6-yard area. Scooped away by Jorginho. Williams is first to it. Deft cross back into the middle. Important header away by Kovacic. Collected by Pedro. One touch to control. Second touch to get the ball away to Batshuayi, who slipped it beyond Shaw and finds William over the halfway line. The crowd begins to rise in noise. He looked for a difficult pass and gave Batshuayi a lot of work to do. And it was Baye who scuffled across and got there for Manchester United.
Yeah, it was well tracked, wasn't it, from Baye. Lovely skill from Batshuayi initially.
Manchester United have the ball at the feet of James. Back to Martial. Dead centre of the field, but about 10 yards inside the Chelsea half. 0-0. 5 Live from the BBC. 7.5 minutes gone. And Matic to the left-hand side. Finds Shaw on the run. Into the box. Martial controls. Instep of the right foot. Now lays it back to the edge of the penalty area, and they couldn't quite get the runner there on the edge of the box to arrive and get the shot away, and Chelsea will bring it out now. Confident surge in possession by Kovacic, who's done well recently when he's come into the side off the bench or when he started. He's gone down there, thought he was tagged by Fred, has stayed down. The referee says play on Willian on the right hand corner of the box, but Chelsea steps inside, shoots, and it's gone to the same side of David De Gea's goal as the earlier one from James. Higher, a little bit wider, but again they're creating danger coming in off the right hand side, Chelsea.
Kovacic felt he was fouled. The ball found its way to Pedro, released the ball to Willian, little step over, right hand side of the box, chops in on his left foot, and he's just trying to feed it into that far corner, left footed. It's a little bit wider than the earlier effort from Reece James, but early signs of encouragement, I think, from Chelsea.
But a worry for them as well here, because Kante's down and needs treatment. I have to say, because I didn't see what happened there at all, he's got 2-3 teammates around him.
I don't think that was from a challenge of any sort. Maybe wrong.
Well, they're warming up Ross Barkley, Chelsea, and the players initially looked a little bit worried, but they're quite calm about it now. I'd say they're playing for the top 4. Will it be top 5? Manchester City, if they get their appeal, which is expected to go, that could last months and months and months. Will they be put into the draw for next year and then dropped out if they get banned, or will they be?
He's coming off.
Will they be kept out? Are we talking about 5th place?
Yeah, I mean it's a real possibility. It'll be interesting to see which way Lampard goes here, because he has Barkley, has Mason Mount as well, doesn't he, on the bench? But this isn't a good sign for Frank Lampard and for Chelsea.
This is a major concern as Kante leaves the field of play. Well, the players initially showed concern, and then I think when I thought they were more relaxed about it, I think there was a look of resignation. They knew what was going to happen.
I think it'll be Mount.
Mason Mount will come on for Chelsea. Thought of him playing with Ziyech next season, and Pulisic, and maybe Sancho. They're saying it's an enticing one for Chelsea fans for the future, and a different sort of player, of course, from Kante, but they have Jorginho to do the more defensive duty, and it looks as if it will be Mount who comes on for N'Golo Kante then any moment now. Don't forget we have the draw for the quarterfinals of the Women's FA Cup coming for you at half time, a little bit later on in the programme. We have a update for you coming in the Women's FA Cup in just a few moments' time. And here's Luke Shaw now in possession for Manchester United. Shaw comes in from that left-hand side for Manchester United. Ball under easy control and slips it backward of square then. And here's Eric Bailly. Welcome return for him after missing so much football, Chris.
Absolutely. Just wonder what Phil Jones is thinking. He can't get a game by coming in, and then Shaw, the third centre-back. Just a 4-4-1 Chelsea waiting for that substitution.
Manchester United have possession, left-hand side, 0-0. Stamford Bridge, 5 Live from the BBC. There's a first early touch of danger from Fernandes into the box. It comes back. The shot by Fred is deflected well wide of the goal to the right-hand side of Caballero's goal, but it was a good initial surge towards the box there by Bruno Fernandes, and a little clever layoff.
Really good from Fernandes. 2 1-2s. Fred got the shot in, deflected wide.
Corner kick for Manchester United on their left-hand side. The 6-yard there is Martial. Also up there is Matic, former Chelsea player as well. Chelsea have 6 blue shirts in the 6-yard area. It's flicked by one of them through his own penalty area. Christensen comes to Williams, smacks it back low into the penalty area. Chelsea get it away, and it's virtually back in the centre circle, where it's lobbed forward by Aaron Wan-Bissaka and then thrashed out by Kovacic, and immediately that sets up a counter-attack. Luke Shaw got a little bit lucky with the header that Chelsea fans thought was a handball. It wasn't, and Manchester United have possession with Maguire. Right side of the centre circle, the centre half, and he plays a 30-yard pass away to the left and picks out Fernandes, who's an attacking midfield player, can get forward and support and score goals. He played that game against Wolves on his debut. This is only his second appearance for Manchester United. He's up there in support of Martial again, but it's cleared by James into the United half.
And he'll be the one they're trying to get on the ball, Bruno Fernandes. United playing with those split strikers, put them on the half turn, and then try and use the pace of Martial and Daniel James to get him behind that Chelsea backline.
Manchester United throw on the halfway line, and Manchester United hierarchy.
Foul throw.
Just as he was taking that throw, he got a sight of the Manchester United board up there in the director's box, looking pensive. It's been a tough time for them, of course, and Woodward in particular. He's here. Throw to Chelsea on the far side, Thomas. James will take the throw. Batshuayi loses possession. Foul throw in the Premier League. Oh dear. That's a good, tidy pass. That's what Fernandes can do. And he's set up Daniel James to attack the right-hand side of the Chelsea penalty. He whips across through the box. And too much pace on it, no direction, not near enough to Martial, or should Martial have been hungry? Goal kick.
I think Rudiger does ever so well. We've seen a couple of really nice touches from Bruno Fernandes, releasing James this time. And the left-hand side, he chops in on his right foot and puts a ball in. Martial tried to get ahead of Rudiger, but Rudiger blocked him off.
Chelsea goal kick doesn't clear the penalty here, doesn't have to these days. Rudiger pushed it out towards Azpilicueta, who hoists it to the halfway line when Maguire splashes it forward. And it's misjudged by Azpilicueta. Now, and Daniel James, a successful first season at Manchester United for him, although it hasn't kept up the electrifying pace of the early weeks. Chelsea clear. Manchester United back in their own half, headed out through Baye, and it drops here now for a possible Chelsea counter-attack. It's pushed out by Mount, the substitute, to Batshuayi, attacking him from the left-hand touchline. Plays it back to Jorginho. First ball off to Batshuayi. First time ball to Batshuayi slipped, and it's going to be a goal kick to Manchester. Now let's go to the Women's FA Cup then. Watching Chelsea against Liverpool for us is Sahar Saeed.
Chelsea still in front, Jonathan, leading Liverpool by a goal to nil. That goal coming in the first half, scored by Guro Reiten. Liverpool are pressing further up the pitch in this half, but they're yet to trouble the Chelsea goalkeeper. 57 minutes played, it's Chelsea 1, Liverpool 0.
Chelsea makes the favourites for the competition, along with Manchester City, who are through. Reached double figures yesterday against Ipswich, the holders. The match is postponed, of course. But we'll keep you up to date with those games going on this evening. More on those at half-time from Chappers. Bristol City 0, Everton 3, I can tell you. And Coventry 0, Spurs 1. Coventry in the second tier of women's football. Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea hits long into the Chelsea half. 0-0. We've been playing a quarter of an hour. And here's Willian. Up then towards James, who spins neatly away from Shaw. Williams is covering behind Shaw, so too Maguire. We came across with a rumbustious challenge on Mount, the left, the Chelsea substitute down, but the referee says play on. Here's Matic, returning to the side after suspension, was sent off in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Manchester City. A victory in that particular competition certainly would have alleviated some of the pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They played Bruges in the Europa League this week. Needs to go through there. Here's Azpilicueta for Chelsea. The ball is blocked by Wan-Bissaka, and it's a throw to the home side, down below us to our left-hand side.
I think that's where they can get a bit of joy, Chelsea, and the flanks. Little overloads. 2v1s, move the ball quickly.
And they're in the penalty area. Pedro pulls it back. Willian got something on it, deflected off Shaw. It's headed away by Wan-Bissaka and then forced out of play by Azpilicueta in front of a noisy Stamford Bridge crowd. It's not a sellout. I don't think there's been a sellout here this season. The average is just over 40,500. It's a noisy crowd, as it always is for this particular fixture. One of the historic fixtures in the English top flight calendar. And United won on the opening day, of course, back at Old Trafford 4-0. They're looking for their first league double over Chelsea since 87-88. It was a scoreline on the opening day that rather flattered Manchester United, I felt.
That sounds a strange thing to say at 4-0, but Chelsea certainly started well. There's been a couple of goals up, and then how much do we read into the Carabao Cup? United went strong, Chelsea didn't. A lot at stake tonight, though.
Batshuayi scuttles across, didn't really put by under pressure. A lot of pressure on Batshuayi to fill the boots of Tammy Abraham tonight. Camilleri plays out for Chelsea inside his box to Azpilicueta, and he finds Rudiger between the penalty area and the left-hand touchline. They've done that tidily. And here's Kovacic now with a run from left to right across the field. Finds James, far side from us, the Chelsea right, 2 yards in from the far touchline and in his own half, and he gives it to Kovacic, who's gobbled up by Fred. Fred gets back, Kovacic slides in, doesn't win it back. Fred takes a tumble, play on. Martial for Manchester United, has a look, wearing the gloves, not that cold, and it's pushed out wide by Matic to the right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka spins, ball under control, he was under no sort of pressure, wasn't great control, and Fred's given it away, and it's scrappy, it's 0-0. Mistake after mistake. Possession turnover after turnover. Here's Batshuayi now to Willian, coming in off the right hand side. Plenty of red shirts back there for Manchester United. 7 to Chelsea's 3 Blues. But it's Pedro right. Nutmegs Fred, tries to get it to Willian, runs into Fred. The referee right up with play says no free kick to Chelsea, and the Chelsea fans holler.
Yeah, little nutmeg. I thought the ball went too far, and then tough call for the referee, but I thought he overhit it and then tried to buy the free kick. Just both sides sloppy in possession. There's a good tempo to the game though, Jonathan.
It is, good pace, isn't there? How about it? Good atmosphere. Lovely night for football. Bit of a chill, but not too cold. Dry. Chelsea have the throw. Mistake there by young Brandon Williams. Only his 21st game for Manchester United. He will make mistakes, but the England under-20 international is some prospect. Seeing a close-up of Frank Lampard down there below us with his snood on against the February.
Snood or snood?
Oh, I don't know.
Snood sounds quite posh to me, Jonathan.
Well, what would it be back in Norfolk?
Oh, snood.
Well, there you are. If it wasn't for Norfolk, my parents would have met. Did you know that? I wouldn't be here now. Do you want the story? Here's Martial, left-hand side of the box. Anthony Martial now for Manchester United. The shot is blocked by Rudiger and cleared away.
He likes that left-hand channel, doesn't he, Martial? He plays, or has played off that left-hand side coming in, but that's seems to be a natural position.
Now, what's happened here, the crowd have stood up in front of us hollering because Batshuayi came across to put Maguire under pressure right on the touchline in front of the Chelsea technical area. They slithered out of play, and as Harry Maguire tumbled, his leg came up and caught Batshuayi. The Chelsea fans aren't happy about it. Maguire is now picking Batshuayi up and apologising if there was anything amiss there. I think it was, I'd have to say it again, Chris, my first reaction is they were slithering at such a pace he couldn't help himself. Let's have a look.
It's over by the touchline, little coming together. Ooh, I tell you what, I wonder whether VAR would have a look at that.
Well, the first foot, as he goes in, slithers, comes up and catches him. It's not that one, it's the second one. He kicks out and catches Michy Batshuayi in the unmentionables. And, well, they've had a look at it. And the big board says no red card after VAR checked that, so they've deemed it accidental, nothing else. Chelsea have possession, right hand side. Now, a couple of yards in off the touchline, rolls it back to James, into Willian. Took an awkward ball well. Here's James again, drags the ball back under the sole of his boot. 0-0. Cross from that, headed away by Maguire. Important head of that because Batshuayi was just behind it. And Jorginho now passes to Rudiger, who comes forward. Lovely ball into the penalty area there. He was looking at Batshuayi, was arcing very, very dangerously, and Maguire got a glancing head out away for a corner kick.
Yeah, Rudiger, left-hand side of the box, whips a ball in. I think Batshuayi may have just been offside. Maguire didn't know that. Crucial touch with his head. Doesn't go far wide of his left-hand post, though.
James from the short tap corner swings across into the box, looking for Rudiger, who got those goals at Leicester the other day. United clear it into Mount, he spoons it into the penalty area. 2 Manchester United players couldn't win it. Comes to Willian into the middle behind Batshuayi, who tried to make contact with his heel and couldn't get there. And Manchester United get it away, and they've won a free kick here for a clumsy and needless challenge by James, Reece James, who buffeted into Daniel James of Manchester United. But at the back there, how ineffective was the United defending, Chris?
Well, absolutely. I actually think Willian should do a lot better Mount just helps the ball into the box as a knockdown. Has helped on by the touchline Willian as he pulls the ball back. Batshuayi, what was it, 6 yards out? He should make that pass. It's behind Batshuayi, who gets his heel on it. I think Chelsea should be in front. That's a wasted opportunity from Willian. Player of his quality should be doing much, much better.
Future certainly looks in doubt, doesn't it, with the arrival of the Ajax player in the summer, Ziyech, and more transfers planned. And I don't think it'd be any surprise to anyone if Willian and Pedro departed in the summer.
You've got Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi.
Pulisic out injured at the moment. Just a reminder, Abraham didn't pass his fitness test on his ankle injury, and a reminder that Odion Ighalo is on the bench for Manchester United tonight. He make his debut. Here's Fred facing his own half, gives to Maguire, takes a snap return ball under pressure from Batshuayi and pushes it back to David De Gea.
I think there's going to be a lot of talk about that Maguire incident, shall we call it. Was it a red card offence or wasn't it? Did he need to stick his foot out and up? Did he kick out? Would you call it a kick out? Well, he caught Batshuayi, didn't he?
Certainly brought tears to his eyes. Is young Williams for Manchester United. Do seem overloaded on that left-hand side when they get it to Williams, and Shaw's over there as well, wide from the left side centre-back position. United starting with a 3. Here's Bailly, strokes the ball to the centre of midfield. Matic to Maguire. Again, Batshuayi was on his shoulder, but wasn't too earnestly pressing him. It looked like regaining possession, and United have it comfortably at the feet of Shaw to Matic, deep inside his own half. 0-0. 5 Live from the BBC. 24 minutes gone, and Williams being chased by James. Back just outside his own penalty area, being pursued now by Willian. And between James and Willian, they show what a high press can do. Throw to Chelsea.
Yeah. Chelsea going 3-on-3. Up top in the midfield, pressing in, and James pushing Williams back, who gave the ball away.
There's wearing black armbands in memory of Harry Glegg, the Northern Ireland goalkeeper of Manchester United, hero of the Munich air crash. And Chelsea come on the attack into the box. Mount pulls it back, and Batshuayi, best chance of the game, has stabbed it wide. Batshuayi, this is his first start of the season. He misses too many like that.
Yeah, rusty Batshuayi. It's a really clever run from Mount. What a spot from Mount. The composure to pull the ball back, left-footed Batshuayi, nearly on the penalty spot with his weaker left foot, just trying to feed it in. Past De Gea, and that's well wide really. Big chance, big opportunity, not taken.
His body shape looked all wrong, Chris, there.
Just didn't look comfortable, did it? And it's his weaker left foot, but having said that, at this level, you've got to be gobbling up chances like that.
Maguire. Back to the left-hand touchline, just over the halfway line creeps Brandon Williams. Shaw is there with him now. Back to Brandon Williams. Luke Shaw, another season punctuated by injury. And Fred, still question marks about him as a Manchester United player, though he started 16 of their last 19 games now. Wan-Bissaka down the right-hand touchline, making steady progress. Played back by Daniel James. United still in possession. Matic has it, 26 gone, 0-0. Matic to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Back in London, the former Crystal Palace player skips beyond Azpilicueta, had to check back and get a cross in, and the ball is out of play.
Looking forward to that match-up. We'll see it many times this evening. Good athlete Wan-Bissaka, but Azpilicueta as well. Powerful runner he is.
He's missed 3 league games in 3 years, Azpilicueta. So consistent at the back for Chelsea, and prime leader of the team as well. As we saw here in that recent game against Arsenal, when they thought they won it late through him, and then that came the goal from Arsenal. In comes a cross from Manchester United from that corner kick, their third of the game. It's headed away. United again probed down their right hand side. Fred, left-footed cross into the box. Goalkeeper was a bit tentative, couldn't have come for it, it was a long way out, and Chelsea have dealt with it anyway. And the ball will be running clear now, deep inside his own half. Mount full of running from right to left into a central position. drops the ball at the feet of Kovacic, who takes a return ball from Jorginho, now finds Pedro on this left-hand side. Now 32 years of age, the former Barcelona player, switches it to Jorginho, up to Willian through the middle, and straight through to De Gea. Already you're seeing they're lacking that front link man, the Tammy Abraham, the out ball, if you like, the target man, and he's played such an important role for Chelsea this season. 8 of his 13 league goals have given them the lead in the game.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's very difficult for Batshuayi, though. Hasn't really had a run. He would like to hit the ground running, so would Frank Lampard, but it's not as easy as that, as Chelsea actually play their way out of trouble very, very well.
Kovacic, left-hand side for Chelsea, a couple of yards in from this left-hand touchline with his buzz-cut hair and his tenacious attitude. Chelsea have it now on the far side, the right, and it's James quarterbacks wide. There was a bit of contact there with Maguire, and that's bubbling up nicely now, that confrontation. Maguire wagged the fingers and didn't touch him. Referee played on, and Chelsea worked the ball to the left-hand side, and Azpilicueta strokes it first time to Pedro, takes the return, give and go. Bailly steps out to meet him. Azpilicueta skips beyond him easily, gets across in. Willian challenge, and Luke Shaw just ducked to head the ball away, and Manchester United again defended that very comfortably, and now spring on the counter at 0-0, and the ball is at the feet now of Martial.
He's got to do better there. Left-hand channel, driving with the ball, tries to come back, and Chelsea midfield rob him of the balls. A couple of times he's given it away cheaply in the last minute or so. Anthony Martial.
Now it's switched by Pedro on the left for Chelsea to Willian on the right. I have an apology to make, Chris. It wasn't George who didn't turn the clock on earlier on. It's the fact that I don't know how to press the buttons on the phone to get the clock up. And it's 29 minutes gone, I can tell you, and it's 0-0. And Manchester United have possession. Apologies to George there. And here's now it's Manchester United. Williams into the penalty area. Good ball in. He's looking for James, coming into the penalty area, centre forward position, virtually on the penalty spot, and sweeping back and covering was Jorginho. He's looking to the referee now. He wants a decision Chelsea's way. Not going to get it. It's a corner to United.
Reece James up the pitch, allows Shaw to get a cross in left-hand side of the box. James would have been in, but Kovacic, good midfield play, tracking back and puts the ball behind Manchester United corner.
One of the unsung heroes for Chelsea this season, Kovacic, in his 32 games. Back it to Manchester United. Fred takes it. It's glanced away by Christensen to Willian. He gives it to the newcomer Bruno Fernandes, who doesn't add to the 15 goals he scored already this season in Portugal, and that's way one.
Yeah, maybe expected a little bit better. The ball headed clear. He's fed to him, 25 yards out, puts his studs on the ball, and then tries to lace the shot on target, but it goes well wide.
Led away by Maguire. George has just shown me some very interesting BT. The Maguire challenge down below us on Batshuayi was identical to the Son challenge on Rudiger. That got Son sent off for Spurs.
Well, what are you suggesting? We would see consistency?
Here's Jorginho. And Chelsea find Pedro, slightly left of centre. Azpilicueta, left-hand side. Was it back to Kovacic, blue boots. And he picks up Pedro. Pedro, back of the square, 10 yards away, 15 yards away as Christensen, upright defender. Got to move the ball forward, then got the collie wobbles and decided against it, checked that, then worked it to the right hand side. Chelsea have possession now. Willian coming in off the right for Chelsea, right footed ball, well played to the feet of Azpilicueta. A good layoff here to Kovacic, could have had a shot, thinks about the ball into the box, hit Nemanja Matic, the former Chelsea player, and away it goes then. Out of play for a corner ball for Chelsea off the man who played 154 games for Chelsea himself in his 2 spells and won the league here on a couple of occasions as well. Corner ball to Chelsea Football Club, and it's on their left-hand side. 13 minutes remain in the first half. That's bubbled along quite nicely, and it's going to be the cross that comes into the penalty area, headed away by Maguire from that corner kick. And does David De Gea have to make a save yet, Chris? I can't remember. I don't think he has it? Been a couple of wild target.
Yeah, Batshuayi had the really golden opportunity from the Mount pullback, and then Willian, not a good ball into Batshuayi when I hit him on the heel 6 yards out. I thought that was a big chance that Chelsea wasted. That was more the poorness of Williams' pass there.
This is a good move building up for Chelsea. Mount looks for James, and Williams was back from Manchester United to run it out of play, but the move started with a lovely crossfield pass again by Mateo Kovacic, and the man who came on loan from Real Madrid, Kovacic, took a while to get going. Here's Mount, lovely spinner off the right for Chelsea. Then he pushed the ball back, side foot pass to Kovacic, into Willian, 5 yards outside the box, looking to manoeuvre into space. United had 9 red shirts back there. One of them was Fred, and he got in with a block challenge and cleared the ball, and Willian chased it and gets it back to Rudiger and on to Willy Caballero. Only his 6th game of the season for Chelsea, former Manchester City player, so obviously he's got the edge against Manchester United tonight. Kovacic, another fine diagonal ball through the midfield, picks out Mount, and on it goes to James. James moving in 3 or 4 yards from the right hand touchline, half inside the Manchester United half of the pitch. 0-0 on 5 live. Azpilicueta balances himself to pick up the pass, moves to the edge of the penalty area, shoots, hit by it, hit Maguire, it's not really cleared away. Kovacic advances, Azpilicueta's into the box, it's slid away by Baez. De Gea came out to meet him, and Manchester United turned to the assistant referee on the far side and said, hey, hang on, where was your flag? That surely was offside.
There's actually a poor pass from Matic. Kovacic picks the ball up, a bit of pinball, and the ball breaks free. Crucial challenge from Bailly.
Corner taken. Oh, short Willian gets a return pass, dives as he went beyond Bruno Fernandes just inside the box. 4 Chelsea players run to the referee and said it should have been a penalty. He's already got his card in his hand, the referee, and it's a caution for Willian for diving.
Well, big call. I have to say my initial reaction was that he's looking for it. Throws a step over. He will, of course, check this one now.
Well, he's put out a yellow card. Williams already cautioned. The referee spotted up the free kick. He had no doubts in his mind. Willian looks a little bit sheepish as he moves away. Let's have a look at this angle.
There is contact, but is there enough contact from Fernandes to throw yourself down like that? Not for me.
It wouldn't have been a penalty anyway because it was outside the box. But,
I think Williams better than that.
And ABB will have monitored that, and you'll hear that again probably at the weekend, I would imagine. Are you working with them at the weekend?
Yep, unfortunately.
Oh, how cruel. Now here's Martial into the Chelsea box. Good run! Poor finish. Suddenly, where did that space come from, Chris? He's advanced inside left position, carried 5 yards, suddenly he's in the box. Diagonal shot available, goal at his mercy, shoots wide.
Clever little pass back, wasn't it, from Fernandes? And that's their danger, isn't it, United? That's the danger of Martial. Never comfortable with the shot. Wasn't a good touch to get it out of his feet, and then an awkward body shape. He pulls the ball past the post.
Pedro advancing into the United half. It was given back to him. Batshuayi found in the box. Checks inside Williams. There's covered out by Bailly, who does a Cruyff turn in his own penalty area with the ball at his feet, brings it away, and the Manchester United fans dance with joy.
How good was that from Bailly? Throws a little step over inside his own box, away from Batshuayi. What a risk! What a piece of skill!
Sensational for Bailly. Hasn't played all season. He had the one game from March of last season on. Oh, the Chelsea had a free kick and given it straight to Manchester United. And Kovacic surely flicked out there and caught Daniel James, having taken the wayward free kick in the first place. And the referee sees nothing, and Chelsea run it out again. No goals, but it's been a terrific opening first half here at Stamford Bridge with 8 minutes left of it. Williams for Manchester United into Matic, deep inside his own half, buffeted by the challenge of Reece James, too strong for him though, and lays it back to Shaw. Shaw carries to the halfway line, gives to Martial, bombs on that left-hand touchline. Luke Shaw takes the return, has a look in the middle. Only Daniel James is in the... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
It was all so good, Jonathan, wasn't it? The run from Shaw from well inside his own half, the little give and go, and the power, the drive to get down the left-hand side. And just when you needed that little bit of quality, he hoofed it into the stand.
Started at Stamford Bridge and ended up somewhere down Oxford Street. I should think it was a very poor ball. It's a free kick here for Chelsea. The fans cheer ironically as the referee gives them something. Willian was pushed to the ground and is writhing on the ground as well and in some pain. He has played since the start of 2017-2018 160 games for club and country. That is a staggering amount of football for someone who's now in his 30s. He limps away, Willian. Rudiger for Chelsea, deep inside their own half to Azpilicueta, right-footed, curls it forward only to the head of Bayer. United set up another attack through the middle and
stronger. Martial.
He didn't hold it up. Was he fouled by Christensen? He's limping away.
Not at all. Got a back in. And he's a big boy, physical. Got to hold that in.
Jorginho with a big expansive crossfield pass. It is kept in by Kovacic. You have to run to keep it in. 20 yards from the Manchester United dead ball line. Again they go backwards to come forwards, keeping possession all the while. Kovacic to Pedro. Pedro strokes the ball back into his own half and Rudiger looks for the big crossfield diagonal. That's a peach of the ball. What a pass that is. To Reece James' chest on the far side. Right in front of the old West stand. Willian now advances against the Manchester United penalty. Again, too many red shirts back. They tried to take on Matic and won it so easily there. And strides away with the ball. Didn't get a shout that little Pedro was nibbling away. Pedro wins it back. The Chelsea fans roar and the home side will come again. But he gives it to Willian, who was down on his haunches there because he was injured, didn't want the ball.
He's not comfortable, is he? Still on his haunches.
Connection between the incident we saw below, Maguire and Batshuayi, very reminiscent of the Son Rudiger red card. That day Anthony Taylor gave Rudiger the red card. Today he didn't give Maguire the red card. Strange one, isn't it? Here's Batshuayi. Willian inside right position, back to Batshuayi. Willian again. Good interchange, good build-up, edge of the yard, hit penalty. Azpilicueta arrives and back to cover and make the crucial intervention. It's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. The pace is unrelenting, Chris. Very quick, lots of mistakes. Error strewn.
And Willian struggling. I think Chelsea have been the better team though. You just, when United break at times.
Strong challenge on Marshall. Does he get the free kick or has he come from an offside position? What's happened here?
I think it's a foul. Those players.
It was fouled by Christensen.
Yeah. No, I think the foul's on Christensen and Martial.
Well, Anthony Taylor's having a word with Christensen, who's on the deck. Let's just see this incident again. We're watching again on the TV here, the Willian incident with Bruno Fernandes.
And you're quite right, it was outside the box. It should have been a free kick. My issue with this, Jonathan, is the fact that he tries to overplay it. If he is going to fall naturally. You know, I think he's exaggerated his fall and therefore the referee thinks he's dived.
The other thing is, he's got the ability and pace, because of the way Bruno Fernandes was caught squared up to him, he's got the ability and the pace to go wider than anyway. You know, and get a genuine foul or get a good cross into the penalty. I don't see why he needed to do it. And when we talk about EBB monitoring this, if you haven't heard them on 606, well, you describe what you do on 606 with...
well, I don't do a lot, actually. Ali does most of the work. But, no, we're trying to clean the game up, Jonathan, of simulation, of moments like that where a player tries to con the referee. So it's called the simulation game. And I think the little fella, Ali Bruce Ball, is doing a very good job. And it's about time. He's been a BBC employee for many, many years.
It is a terrific 606, I have to say. I listened for couple of minutes on the way back from the game, and then I stick a Bruce Springsteen CD on.
No, I don't blame you. Still haven't heard your Norfolk story yet, just as we're...
Oh yes. Well, when my mum and dad were in the RAF, they met up there at up near Cromer, I think it was.
Yeah,
yes,
really,
they did. That's where they
Lovely
did their
part of the world.
They did their wooing, as it was described in those days, and then they were fortunate for me to come along a little bit later on. There you are. So if it wasn't for the RAF and Norfolk, the world would have been spared me.
I could have been here with John Murray.
Well, there you are. John Murray was in Norfolk with us on Saturday, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
On a cold old day. And while you were putting much of the day together, I was in the curry house up the road, Chris. Lovely it was too. Were you cold?
No, I was in the warm.
No, John, afterwards when you were working, doing the match of the day.
It's a little bit chilly, wasn't it? Breezy.
I had a lovely time, thank you. That's why now for Chelsea's offside. Goodness me. Some of the managers you played under, if you'd have been, or assistant managers, Ray Harper for example, if you'd have been caught as lazy as that in an offside position, what would they have said to you?
Absolutely. Just not been on his game so far. Backs right. Been thinking clearly.
No goals. Manchester United on the attack now, down the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka, right foot. Oh, lovely cross in, lovely goal. Manchester United lead. Moment of real quality. Martial puts them ahead. He's been quiet. He hasn't really been at it. He hasn't been forceful and physical enough. But when that arcing, delicious cross came in from the right hand side, he rose earlier. He got his head to it. It's a lovely headed goal. And Manchester United lead with Martial's 13th of the season.
Well, this is brilliant from Wan-Bissaka. Faces Willian up and whips a ball in. You've got to say the header is absolutely terrific. Makes his run across Christensen. I think as the ball's whipped in from Wan-Bissaka, right-footed. It's a martial art, it really is. Glances the header into the far corner. It's a wonderful, wonderful finish. No chance for the goalkeeper. Uses the pace of the cross. Knows exactly what he wants to do with it and gets it absolutely bang on. It's brilliant from Martial. It really is. Chelsea go behind.
And there's a little bit of treatment for Andreas Christensen after the goal. He's having to come across towards this near side. Great header, but Christensen got nowhere near it. Took off too late, Chris.
Well, I have to say you have to credit the striker for that. Moved across him. Didn't react. Was proactive. Gambled. Thought Wan-Bissaka would put the ball into that area. Terrific run. Wonderful glancing header.
Beautiful cross, beautiful goal. We're in stoppage time. Don't forget, coming up at half-time, the draw for the Women's FA Cup quarter final. Big names in the competition still in there. Arsenal, record number of wins in the competition. Manchester City holders, they're all still in there. And you'll hear that in just a few moments' time. And we'll be talking about the first half, which has been interesting, has been really helter-skelter, but has lacked quality in the final third until that goal.
Was that part of Wan-Bissaka's game where he has been criticised previously? That final product. Brilliant ball in.
Christensen's back on with a cotton wool nasal plug. He's got blood seeping from a cut nose. He's trotting off after it down that far side from us to Chelsea right, and he plays it back to Willy Caballero in front of that old West stand. A far cry from its former status. I saw my first ever game of football over there, Chris. 1966 it was, and it's going to be a throw-in for Chelsea, for Manchester United, in front of that stand, and Frank Lampard looks on with a quizzical look on his face down below us. He's seen his team have a lot of ball, but haven't taken the chances. They haven't created a real clear-cut chance.
I think the Batshuayi one wasn't up when he was on the penalty spot, left-footed. That was the opportunity.
And he has bemoaned that fact, hasn't he, this season? He knows they need top quality attacking players come in. Ziyech can score goals, can create, got a lovely eye for a pass. The Ajax player arriving in the summer for an absolute steal, by the way. That's given away by Pedro. And Manchester United, all of a sudden, looked the more authoritative team until Brandon Williams switched off and Willian got back at him. He's dispossessed by Martial, 10 yards outside the Chelsea penalty area. They work it left. Williams 2 or 3 yards in from that far touchline. Martial, the goal scorer. Now Matic, 1-0 Manchester United. Matic holding on possession. Too strong for Mason Mount. None against Boy there, really, it looked like. But the pass into the penalty area was not accurate, and Christensen can get it away. Good pressure on him by Bruno Fernandes, who's played well, but Chelsea have it now. Batshuayi back into Pedro, attacking the Manchester United. Into the box it goes. Batshuayi across goal. Another chance. He's fucking wide again. But the Manchester United back four got all higgledy-piggledy. Centre-backs crossing over each other, and Chelsea's chance came as a result of it.
Really sloppy from Harry Maguire. Missed the ball on the halfway line. Batshuayi into Pedro, who's driving centre of the pitch or 30 yards out, feeds the ball back to Batshuayi. Have to say, never fancied him. Driving into the box on the right hand side. Wasn't a confident finish, and he pulled it well wide. De Gea's right hand post. The angle a little bit against him. Got to work the goalkeeper.
We're seeing a close-up here on our little monitor of Olivier Giroud. Batshuayi was preferred to him. Batshuayi's first start, 2 chances, none taken. One main chance for Manchester United, taken by Anthony Martial, virtually on the stroke of half-time. Lovely headed goal. Full of pace the game. That quality came late, and because of it, Manchester United Champions League by the goal to nil. Thank you very much, and off we go. Chelsea all in blue, kicking from left to right then in this second half, trailing by a goal to nil to Manchester United, who beat them on the opening day 4-0. They have kept just one clean sheet in their last 12 away games in the top flight this season, Manchester United, and they've lost on each of their last 3 Premier League games in London. So the omen's still favourable for Chelsea, but they've had to make that second substitution. Zuma on and bustling his way onto the ball and shrugging off the challenge by Fernandes and holding on to it and playing it away to the right hand side, where Reece James now cuts it back to Jorginho. Deep inside his own half, he finds Zuma once again. He'd had his best ever spell actually, with Chelsea up until the turn of the year, 20 games in a row, and then he's been left out ever since. Here's Kovacic, just deflects the ball off Fred, and it's a Chelsea throwing. Chris on the far side, 0-1.
Yeah, and just looking whether there's any tactical change, but doesn't look like it at the moment. United with that back three which was successful earlier on in the season in the Carabao Cup here at Stamford Bridge. Fernandes just playing in behind the 2 split strikers.
Willian, good touch off to Mount. Batshuayi's run offside, so Mount had to check the pass through, and instead comes wide to the right hand side. James, well, not too wide, he's about 10 yards in off the line, inside the Manchester United half, to the to the feet of Willian then back to James, and James pushes it centre circle and picks out Jorginho. Good switch, quickly away. Maybe they didn't move the ball quick enough in the first half at times. They are now. Azpilicueta to Pedro, then the pace drops, pushes it infield to Kovacic, tried to drive it into the edge of the penalty area, followed past some player 1-2, didn't come off. As Manchester United clear, Rudiger has pulled down his man, a little bit cynical as Fernandes went to flick it one side, run the other, drew the foul, yellow card Rudiger.
Yeah, but I think Fernandes is looking for this. Sees Rudiger coming, pokes it round him. I don't think he's getting it the other side. Where can Rudiger go there? I think that's a very harsh booking, really do.
Missed a lot of the early part of the season, Rudiger. Came back in December after a groin problem. I think one game between April and December. Manchester United having the groans you were hearing from the Chelsea fans in front of us as the home side give it away again. And Brandon Williams moves down the Manchester United half, turns it into Fernandes. Played well, he has, and it goes back to Luke Shaw. Manchester United leading. Williams in the red and white of Manchester United to Daniel James. Strokes to the left hand side, Martial. The only one in the penalty area there at the moment is Bruno Fernandes, and he's now stepped out of the box as well. And it's going to be a Manchester United throw. So when they had Martial out here wide, they had no one in the middle. The split strikers, Martial and Daniel James.
That's why Martial didn't put it in.
He has the ball in his feet. No, he doesn't. Williams kept it. and now ducks his shoulder. Tries to roll inside Jorginho, take on Reece James, who cleared it away. Jorginho scoops it forward to William. Manchester United pressing very, very hard and tenaciously 10 yards outside the box. Chelsea trying to clear it away. Zuma has launched it long, too long for Azpilicueta. Throw to Manchester United on their right, taken fairly quickly by Wan-Bissaka, whose cross set up the goal. It was an absolute peach of a cross, and Manchester United still lead from that. And they have possession inside their own half with Bailly. Very confident crossfield swirling pass to Luke Shaw, came off only just though. Williams now swirls it into the Chelsea half again, where Zuma edges it out and Jorginho picks it up. Having a look, ball under control, outside of his right foot, inside of the right foot, then he plays it out to James. James down the line to William, thinks about a run against young Brandon Williams, and he's seen ghosts inside that penalty area, Chris, because the cross has gone out of play for a throw on the far side.
Yeah, William, that's poor from him. Had the run on Williams in a wide area, but only backs right in the box, but the cross was really well overhit. You can see United have started this second half with a real purpose and an energy, and this would be a huge win for them to come here at 3 points.
It would certainly revitalise their bid for a top 4 place. We know Champions League qualification could go down to 5th, all depends on what happens with Manchester City. Expected to launch an appeal, could go from Court of Arbitration all the way up to Human Rights Court, could last for months. We don't know what's going to happen on that. Will there be a suspension of their ban? Chelsea's transfer ban wasn't suspended, was it? So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks on that. Very important decision that for club football and for the power of UEFA as well. Manchester United have a throw taken quickly on their left hand side, comes back here then to Fernandes, little flick through to Martial on the left hand corner of the box, back to goal, pressurised as he was by Rudiger, and comes across from Fernandes and headed away easily by Azpilicueta to Pedro, wending his way from left to right, inside his own half, halfway inside his own half, drops the ball at the feet of Jorginho, gives it back to Pedro, and as he tried to flick it on, Mount waited for the ball, Bailly didn't, stole it back. Manchester United looking to create, but Daniel James, swamped by blue shirts, had to play it back into a deeper position. 1-0 to Manchester United. Matic starts another attack for them, finds Williams on the left hand side, Brandon Williams into Martial. Again he's got a defender tight, very tight to him. It was Zuma on as a half-time substitute. If you've just come back in from your half-time cup of tea, or you've parked your car or whatever, and you're listening again at home. It's Chelsea in possession. Mount scrapping, forced ball. They're rushing. It was easily blocked by Fred, was it back there, Chris? And it's a throw to Chelsea just inside the United half.
You just sense a bit of anxiety amongst the Chelsea fans in the stadium. Not been a great start to the second half. United have come out and really been the better side in the early exchanges. Chelsea just got to hang on in there, wait for their opportunity, try and get a foothold in this second half, make some passes.
Through by Reece James, easily blocked by Matic, and Manchester United again pick up possession and look to use it with Fred driving the ball inaccurately straight at Reece James. Back it comes again, quick pace about it, or rush pace about it, forced pace, the ball inaccurate up towards Willian, and Harry Maguire will turn it away. Hasn't had the best of games, Maguire, in front of the watching England manager Gareth Southgate, in that moment of contention in the first half. Should he have been red carded for clearly lifting a foot and catching Michy Batshuayi when both of them tumbled off the field of play?
More than a lift.
He booted him, didn't he? He booted him. That's what he certainly seemed to, didn't he? Pedro, left-hand touchline, finds Azpilicueta. Back it comes then to Kovacic. Now left-hand touchline again, Azpilicueta. No movement inside the penalty area. Chelsea are going to have to think about a change. They do have the forgotten man Giroud on the bench, but they only have one change to make,
and that would be a risk, wouldn't it, at this stage to make that change. Must be going through Lampard's mind though. What can he change tactically, maybe?
Kovacic. He's at 2 yards in from the left-hand touchline. Back it goes to him, and they're not making forward progress. Groans from Chelsea fans, the Manchester United fans away to our left-hand side at the shed end are singing loudly. In comes across from Reece James. Will it come out to Mason Mount? Took it neatly enough. Gets a shot away. It's parried. The free kick won't count. Handball is given for the initial piece of control on the edge of the penalty area when Chelsea fans thought they had an opportunity. The shot was either parried by De Gea or hit the post. I couldn't tell from where I sit, and bounced out, but the referee had already blown for handball against Mason. But that's never handball we're seeing a replay of it.
Well, I just wonder, was it for the earlier Batshuayi when the ball initially goes in? Yeah, Batshuayi's got his right arm raised in an unnatural position. Certainly wasn't Mason Mount. Terrific strike. Good save, but Batshuayi would have tapped it in.
But when the ball came into him, again, it was a defender's header that hit Batshuayi on the arm. Almost
his arm was above his head, which is...
Are you happy with that side of the handball?
Well, yes, it's not a natural position. I get that. I think most people get that.
Oh, it's given away by Pedro. Might have edged it on with his arm, but he's running at the Manchester United penalty area. Pushes to the left-hand side. Azpilicueta. It's half in. It's Pedro. It's away wide. It took a desperate defensive lunge to deflect the ball away, and the goalkeeper comes out and absolutely delightful with Wan-Bissaka, and Bayo got the double block it.
Well, I thought he dallied too long, Pedro, to put the ball out to Azpilicueta as he pulls the ball back in. Maguire gets the block. Pedro 7 yards out. What a challenge from Wan-Bissaka.
In comes a corner kick. It's in. Chelsea level, and Zuma, the substitute on a half-time, makes it 1-1. Well, Manchester United are coming to the referee and appealing against something, but the cross came in, was flicked on, and Zuma met it with a right foot volley, and it absolutely screamed beyond David De Gea, low into the corner of the net, and it's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1.
Well, United players aren't happy about something as the ball's whipped in. I think that they're looking for a push on Williams. Let's have a look. Oh, I tell you, it's going to be a contentious one. Williams is pushed, and does that allow the ball to go through to Zuma, who volleys it in superbly from 10 yards?
Well,
is there enough?
It's disallowed. They're saying there was a push on Williams. Now Chelsea will say their man was pushed onto Williams.
Yeah, and was there enough force for him to go down? That's a big call. I've seen it back once on the monitor. Here we go again. It's Azpilicueta running alongside Fred. Fred shoves Azpilicueta into Williams. The goal should stand. That's ridiculous.
If there's anything, if you're going to put it back, give a penalty, but a push by Fred on Azpilicueta, who then bumps into the Manchester United man.
You'd have to question what Stockley Park are seeing there. You really would. I mean, that's absurd. Fred pushed Azpilicueta. That was the initial offence. What can Azpilicueta do? That's crazy stuff.
The goal is ruled out for a push, and it's still 1-0 to Manchester United. And there are boos around Stamford Bridge, and Azpilicueta is exasperated as another decision goes United's way. This time it's a throw on the far side. Meaningless, doesn't mean anything. Chelsea got to get over it. It's gone, and they need to get their heads together and get on with the game. 5 Live from the BBC, 1-0 to Manchester United.
Not the only person who needs to get their head together. I think Stockley Park, they're on their heads banging together, really. That is a decision which I'm just bamboozled with. Fred was the initial instigator in all this.
He pushed Azpilicueta, you could clearly see it on the replay, into Brandon Williams, and the referee's going to free it now. Meanwhile, Zuma's come launching in on a challenge on Martial down below us on the touchline.
This is going to get heated now.
Rudiger's saying get up to Martial. I thought it was a risky challenge and uncontrolled. Martial has stayed down. Chelsea say
Fred and Azpilicueta. There's a coming together there.
No need for Fred to get involved at all. No need for Azpilicueta to go near Martial, who's on the deck. And Anthony Taylor has a very difficult game now to control.
Well, is he Zuma make the challenge? And right said Fred, he goes in. Azpilicueta raises his arms. It's all very heated. This has always been a hotly contested fixture, hasn't it?
It has, but all this tension now and the anger has come because of that VAR goal. Interesting to hear Aston Villa manager yesterday saying that VAR decision in that Villa game, the penalty incident, was taken by a man 100 miles away in an isolated and sanitised studio that had no sense of the feeling of the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a yellow card here for Fred's intervention, I think, and for Zuma for the challenge. Well, if he's put Zuma for the challenge, has he given a free kick?
It's one of those ones where Martial running down the channel, Zuma is committed, comes off his feet, takes the ball, and a bit of the man, albeit Martial hurdles him. Zuma does catch him a little bit. I understand the yellow card for Zuma. I don't know why Rudiger gets involved. Discipline important now. No need for Fred to lose his head.
Manchester United have the ball. Momentarily they've given it away. So scrappy now. Helter-skelter again. United lead it 1-0. Mason Mount, bit of quality, put his foot on the ball, rolled it 4 or 5 yards to the left. Kovacic tries the big switch ball out to Reece James. Lovely pass. James takes it on his chest, and Brandon Williams defended well against him at the expense of a corner kick.
He did really well. Williams is hotting up in here now. Another corner for Chelsea. So contentious, the last one.
Willian will take it. He'll swing the corner away from goal. Headed back inside the 6-yard area by Chelsea. Looking for Azpilicueta, and Shaw did well. And Manchester United let to break quickly with the ball up to Daniel James. And Kovacic scuttled across from the left-hand side, the right-side centre-back position, and got it away. Marcus Rashford just tweeted, and breathe. Just calm down a little bit. On the hour, 1-0. It is heated. It's not Chopper Harris, Paddy Crerand heated, by the way, if you remember contest between the two sides. It's not Dennis Wise, Roy Keane heated, if you remember the contest between those. Wasn't Dennis Wise sent off in that game you scored?
Was that Nicky Butt? There was an incident, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That's how we describe it.
Well, if that was the case, I remember that incident, I was commentating on it. But the goal is lost in the mists of time. Chelsea have it on the left, looking then for Pedro, and it's away by big Harry Maguire.
Did you have to queue up that day, I suppose?
Well, I'll tell you, I remember the Chris Sutton banners, and
the out banners.
Well, I was going to repeat the language on the banners, but then I remember we're broadcasting on the BBC, so I can't. But here's Zuma for.
I'm glad I'm here with you tonight.
Well, you are. I know you are. It's all good fun. The last time we worked together, my mum, she's 90, she phoned me up the next day and she said, "Do you really not like that, Chris Sutton?" I said no. Anyway, it's cleared away by Caballero. Centre circle, here's Fred for Manchester United. Moves the ball to his right hand side. Pedro's back with him to dispossess. 1-0. Manchester's lead. Good pressure by Fred. Good in possession by Pedro. Then he goes down in the box. And the referee not happy with the first decision, but he's given a free kick now right on the edge of the penalty area.
Well, what is Pedro doing? Twists and turns. You can see he's going to get caught out. I think Fred's made a meal of that. I do. There's a little bit of contact. I think United are fortunate to get the free kick. I tell you, I think Fred's bought that and he's just been booked.
And I think he was looking for a penalty. His dive took him into the box. The initial challenge was a yard outside the penalty area, so I didn't think Anthony Taylor was going to give it. And he played on for a couple of moments, and he has given the free kick. And Manchester United here, an important moment. Can they get a second? Bruno Fernandes stands over the ball. Very good at set pieces in Portugal with Sporting. But is to the right, so he'll swing that in. Fernandez, oh, he's gone for goal, he's hit the post! Well, I said he was good at set pieces, and that was very nearly a very good one. And United's pressure continues. Wan-Bissaka, Fred, right-hand touchline, halfway inside the Chelsea half, he's dumped again. Challenged by Pedro, get him a yellow card, Fred's made a meal of it.
Well, absolutely brilliant from Bruno Fernandes. Whips the ball, he goes around the wall, gets so much action on it. Caballero full stretch, it cannons off his left-hand post. Great attempt, great effort. It really was. I don't think Caballero's getting that. And we see the challenge from Pedro. Blimey, when Pedro's getting aggressive and losing the plot, you know there's something on this game.
Fred's free kick claimed by Willy Caballero, good claim. Roll out into a dangerous area though, as he looked there for Jorginho deep inside his own half. Chelsea played their way out. Look at Manchester United pressing, pounding brilliantly, they've won it back. Really tenacious performance by them. And Luke Shaw drives into the Chelsea half, veers out to the left, between the box and the touchline is Daniel James, and it's away for a corner ball, is it? Yes it is, off the challenge by Reece James. Pedro's still grumbling about his yellow card. He was deserved. Fred did make a meal of it, but Pedro was stupid in getting involved in a buffeting challenge like that. Still having a word with the referee as United prepare to take this corner kick, taken short by Fernandes. Here's Luke Shaw. Shaw, back it comes under Fred, swinging cross, dangerous into the box, met by the header of Zuma, and out of play it goes for another Manchester United corner kick. Chelsea can't get out at the moment.
Just a bit of pressure. Bruno getting the adoration from the United fans in that corner. Two hands up.
15 goals and 14 assists for him in Portuguese football this season. In comes a corner, 2-0! There's another assist for him, Fernandes. He's had a terrific game. Maguire didn't have a good first half. Should be on the field of play, or shouldn't he be on the field of play? What is certain, Manchester United have a 2-goal lead at Stamford Bridge.
Well, Bruno on the money, two arms raised above his head. That was the signal to Harry Maguire. I'm going to whip this in at pace. Over the far post, and Maguire, how many times have we seen it? He's the one, he wants to attack it. Chelsea go man for man, he gets across his marker and thumps the header into the corner. Nobody on the post. It's a brilliant header, it's a powerful header. The delivery, first class. The finish, top class from Harry Maguire. Long way back for Chelsea now.
And his first for the club in the cup tie romp at Tranmere recently, gets his second here at Stamford Bridge. And again I ask the question, should Giroud have started? Because defensively in his own penalty area set pieces, he is very strong, and Chelsea have been beaten by two headers.
I think there's a case for that, of course. It's easy to say that now. Frank Lampard will be bitterly disappointed with the way his team defended that.
Huge task now for Chelsea, turn around to Manchester United. Really good at Solskjaer. Gave his players a few days off and took them abroad for a training camp during the break. He says it's refreshed them. They can get tired of each other in the dressing room atmosphere over the whole 40 weeks of the season, and they've come here with a spring in their step and a snap in the challenge, and they lead 2-0, but they've given away a free kick here. What a week we have for you.
Here's Giroud
on 5 Live as Giroud prepares to come on. Don't forget, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool tomorrow in the Champions League with Tony Murray and Steve Warnock. Wednesday, Spurs against Leipzig, Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle, who are preparing right now, doing homework in their hotel rooms, I can tell you. And Manchester City against West Ham on 5 Live Sports Extra on Wednesday night as well. It's Chelsea in possession with Kovacic. What a poor ball that was to Jorginho, and he's now pulled his man Martial to the ground, risking a yellow card. Doesn't get one, but that just shows where Chelsea are in the game right now.
Here's Batshuayi off. Giroud on. Hasn't been an easy night for Batshuayi. Missed a big chance for Chelsea in the first half. He should have scored. The ball has bounced off him. And you're right, Jonathan. I think a lot of Chelsea fans will be saying, OK, Tammy Abraham injured. Why Batshuayi over Giroud?
He's played 91 minutes of league football since August. Giroud, 2 league starts this season in all, 6 league starts since September 2018. Hero in the Europa League last season.
And I just wonder what his match fitness will be like then.
There's a foul on Wan-Bissaka by Azpilicueta, who again is exasperated and turns to the referee, or rather it's Kovacic, and the referee has a quiet word with him. But Chelsea for the moment, with just under a quarter of the game to go, have lost their heads, they look ragged, lack a bit of shape, and Manchester United are by far the better team at the moment. Fernandes whips another dangerous free kick in the Maguire far post, back across goal. Azpilicueta saves a certain Manchester United third, heading it away with Martial looming predatory-like at the far post.
What a ball this is from Fernandes. That same combination. Maguire rises, heads the ball back 6-7 yards out, and Fred has the easiest. Martial has the easiest of tap-ins. Azpilicueta gets back and heads it over the bar. Brilliant defending.
And they have another corner, Manchester United, and they look capable of scoring right now every time they get it into the Chelsea box. Chelsea trying to manhandle on the edge of the penalty by Ian Maguire to stop them having a run. It's headed away powerfully in the middle and comes back towards the halfway line. Luke Shaw is there. Shaw to the left-hand side. It's tucked round the corner by Fred. Looks a return ball. Super ball by Fernandes. He's been exceptional. And Reece James sees off the runner and shepherds the ball out of play for a goal kick.
He's playing with a swagger, isn't he? Fernandes now pulling the strings. But they're a yard sharper. United yards quicker in the press. Chelsea work the way out. Kovacic does very well on the edge of his own box, but then gives the ball away, and here comes another attack from United.
You can see why Chelsea have won just 1 of 5 league games on this sort of form. They're muddled and second best all over the pitch. Giroud's first touch is to head it back to Mount. Chelsea fans will turn round though to that crucial moment where they believe they should have had an equaliser. It went to VAR and it was ruled out.
And they turn around and say Harry Maguire shouldn't have been on the pitch to score the goal.
Contentious moments have gone against Chelsea in the game, and they've got a free kick here now. Wan-Bissaka trying to put his man Azpilicueta away from the ball. 2 yards in from the left-hand touchline and 12 yards from the dead ball line. Far side of the pitch from us then, and it will either be a free kick curled in to the penalty area by Mason Mount's right foot or swung away. Perhaps we'll wait and see. Reece James has gone over there as well, dominantly right-footed. Will he arc it in dangerously? Zuma's on the edge of the 6-yard area. Giroud is goal side of him and currently standing offside. Rudiger is just behind the pair of them. Azpilicueta, who's settled up useful goals this season, is in there as well. And behind them is Jorginho. In comes that free kick all the way through. Okay.
Had the opportunity to put United, and they're under real pressure. He hasn't been worked the guy out. You can see a frustrated Frank Lampard sitting on the bench talking about he wanted his players to play with a real edge, train with a real edge this week. This United who have had the edge.
Here's Jorginho. Look at Monsieur, little man, lovely touch off here. Oh, it's goes through, and a terrific challenge by Eric Bailly. Launched in and deflected the shot away for a corner when it looked like a certain Chelsea goal.
That's as good as a goal from Bailly. He's out of the picture. Deft touch from Giroud, right hand side of the box. Kovacic drives the box, just has the keeper to beat. Bailly wasn't in the picture, and all of a sudden comes flying across, has to get the challenge spot on, and boy does he. Gets all of the ball. I think he gets a bit of Kovacic as well on the follow through.
But still they haven't had a shot to test De Gea. The Zuma goal ruled out for a foul on Brandon Williams when, if anything,
he's not moving well now, and they're subbed out Chelsea.
Kovacic is limping badly. Willian with the corner kick on 5 line. Swung away from goal poorly and launched out by a Luke Shaw volley 20 yards to Reece James. Looks away to the left-hand side and prods it out there with his weaker foot. And Pedro turns, runs towards the edge of the penalty area. Wide of him he had support, but he couldn't find Mountain. Manchester United will bring it away with Martial, who scored the first goal with a fine header very late on in the first half, and Maguire with a fine header in the second doubled the lead. And he has the ball now just outside his own penalty area, and Maguire strokes an easy diagonal pass to the right touchline, and Wan-Bissaka, who's cross-created the first goal, into Fred, and Maguire then hits long and invites young Daniel James to run at Rudiger. Bounces off Rudiger, James is first to it, to run it against Rudiger, and skips beyond him, and Rudiger, well-timed challenge, went to ground, slid it in, good slide challenge, corner ball, Manchester United at 2-0 up.
He's not going to run Rudiger. Daniel James has got a little burst. Rudiger gets back, makes the challenge, but worrying times once again from Chelsea. They haven't been able to cope with United's presence.
Corner ball for Manchester United on the far side, that's their right. Maguire on the edge of the penalty area needs watching, so too does Bayo. Again, he's trying to block off the Chelsea defenders by getting anywhere near Maguire. He's actually holding on to his teammate as they dance forward, then they spring apart. The cross is headed away by Giroud and drops to Brandon Williams, who turns it square poorly, and Giroud is first onto it as he brings it away. A flailing arm sends Fernandes to the deck, and then there's a crumpling challenge in there as well by a Manchester United player, Matic, on Pedro, who stayed down. So too is Fernandes, and then Williams cuts Willian down as Willian tried to turn inside him. It's a free kick for Chelsea just inside the Manchester United half, and the referee plods forward and has a word first with Fernandes, who's okay, unmarked, there's nothing wrong with him, and Pedro, who's limping away after what was a tenacious challenge.
A lot of love out there between the two teams. Anthony Taylor booking Luke Shaw.
That's Williams, isn't it? It's Williams who gets the yellow card for the challenge down below us. So how many's that now? Fred was booked, Williams been booked, Willian and Rudiger, and Zuma and Pedro. Now it's Chelsea.
7.
Jorginho down that left hand side. Was Rudiger was booked, wasn't it? Chelsea have possession on the far side.
Well, how many was it then?
Next question. Chelsea have possession on the left. Maths never my strong point, you know that. And Chelsea with the ball, trailing by 2 goals, so that means they need 3 to win. Yeah, I got a sudden one. Out by Zuma, and that's a good ball round the corner by Mount, and he takes the return here on from Reece James and faces up and runs in the box. Fury's made a good run near post and scores! And that is what they've missed, and that is what he can do. And should he have started? Quick movement down the right hand side for Chelsea. Giroud makes a centre forwards run, gambles, gets there, and heads brilliantly in. 2-1.
It's really well worked. I think he's onside by the tiniest of margins. We'll be checking this with VAR. Oh, he may just be offside.
He's a foot offside. His foot straight. We're seeing the monitor. His foot is straight.
This place is going to erupt if they disallow this. It's a brilliant centre forwards header. The ball whipped in from Mount, but I think his right foot is offside. The roof's going to come off this place if they disallow this.
But they have to, because we're seeing the blue line, we're seeing the red line. Listen to the Chelsea fans. Listen to the United fans roaring. Offside doesn't count.
And the Chelsea fans are leaving in their droves. That's what they think. VAR.
Listen to it. Listen to the bridge. This is the voice, not just of Chelsea fans. This is the voice of football fans all over.
You know what? It's not 10 or 20 people. It is hundreds who are departing Stamford Bridge. And the United fans are singing VAR.
And they're also singing cheerio, I think, to the Chelsea fans. But that's what it's there for, VAR.
This is going to boil over here. Wan-Bissaka. That's
been a quick up. There's a yellow card produced Thanks for Wan-Bissaka for turning and facing up and getting involved with Azpilicueta. And it has been an angry second half. It's been a real old Chelsea-Manchester United second half.
How many yellows is that now?
A lot. And Chelsea will clear it away out to the right-hand side. George, rescue me. How many yellow cards? 7, I think.
Well, I tell you, you wouldn't rule out a red at some stage here. You just sense Chelsea will feel real injustice. Maguire should have been sent off. 2 goals disallowed. I get the Giroud one, if I'm honest. He was offside, his foot was offside, we could see that clearly. Do we like it? Not necessarily. Do we understand it? Yes. But the other goal, Zuma's goal, should have stood.
But again, there wasn't a Manchester United appeal, you know, for offside. There was no Manchester United appeal for offside when Giroud headed it in. That's irrelevant in a way. They're going to make the substitution. Fred's coming across, but it won't be him.
James.
It's going to be James, and on comes Pereira. So it's a defensive move.
Yep. Slipping up the midfield. We'll see Martial. There's a lone centre forward.
Well, so many talking points. The Maguire sending off incident. He stayed on the pitch, scored one of the 2 goals. Should Giroud start, he certainly had an impact. He's laid the ball to Kovacic and out wide to Pedro. Good move by Chelsea developing again, but look at Manchester United's defence. 8 players back so quickly. They've worked tremendously hard. Pedro's lost his man, spins the crossing, headed away by Matic to the edge of the D. Mount's shot is blocked back there, and it springs away to James. His cross is blocked by Brandon Williams, another learning experience for the young man today, who sold himself short, been beaten by a 1-2, but as James plodded onto it, 2 Manchester United players came smartly to meet him. They pressed, they worked, tremendous stuff from there. And William, again, a wayward pass out to the Chelsea left. Too many passes of theirs gone astray.
Yes, but they're playing with a bit of desperation now, Chelsea. You know, they nick one now, they can put United under a bit of pressure. The United team have cracked many times this season.
Chelsea have possession. Zuma into Mount, 5 yards inside the Manchester United half on 5 Live, with those 2 big games coming up for you in the Champions League tomorrow and Wednesday, don't forget. Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, and then Spurs Leipzig on Wednesday, and all the rest of the European Champions League score lines as the ball hits the back of the net across the continent of Europe. Pedro for Chelsea, desperate moments for them as we tick into the last few minutes of the game. In towards Kovacic, then back to Chelsea's Jorginho, hooks it to the left-hand side. Azpilicueta down by the dead ball line to run Wan-Bissaka, who turned with him and backheels another play in the last 9 minutes of the game. Can Chelsea come back and rescue something from it?
They need something, don't they? Corner kick, Willian. Look at the delivery, spot on.
And it comes. Giroud is on the edge of the 6-yard area, drops out. Pedro hits it back into the mix. With it ball finally for a Chelsea move. Martial's given it away. Kovacic tries to place it. Hit a body in there. Might well have been Zuma. And Chelsea work it out intelligently to Willian. Attacking the penalty, and it comes. Azpilicueta scoop the ball. And De Gea makes his first real save of the game. I think he was going wide anyway.
Yeah. And Chelsea have a problem. Pedro is down. They're subbed out.
Got cramp.
Really?
Cramp. Just had the break, haven't they? Did it affect you, having had the winter break? Not been a long break, has it?
Finely tuned specimens, these footballers.
When you started that sentence, there was a pause and you said finely tuned, and then you paused and looked at me before you said footballers. Was there significance in that gaze?
There was a lot of things going through my mind at that particular second.
I thought it was a bit of an adoring gaze, actually. Maybe I mistook the mood. Anyway, Pedro's down. He has got the cramp. He's had an in and out game, hasn't he? Williams had an in and out game.
I think they've been disappointing. course, Hudson-Odoi missing for Chelsea. They've missed his drive and trickery.
It's Tammy Abraham, haven't they?
Yeah, I think as a centre forward. Having said that, I think Giroud has made an impact. You think about the chance created for Kovacic when Bailly came back and made a flying challenge, last ditch, lovely touch that, and then I say unlucky to have his goal ruled out. Terrific header, but his yellow left boot was offside.
Saw on one or two of the old blue line go out, VAR, then the red line, and his yellow boot had crossed that red line and was offside. Brandon Williams for Manchester United, fouled late by James, free kick. The referee sensible is not every foul is a yellow card, of course, and it's been a tricky one this for Anthony Taylor. And again, we'll go back to that sending off incident with Maguire right on. Had he dealt with that in a different way? You know, if you didn't see it, he's got VAR to see it.
Yeah, and people will ask the question, Anthony, you sent Son off earlier this season, yet you didn't send Harry Maguire off. The incidents are exactly the same. Why didn't you?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stands on the edge of his technical area. Frank Lampard still sitting down. 6 minutes to go. Lots of empty seats among the Chelsea areas of the ground. Pedro deep inside his own half, plays back then to Zuma to add insult to injury. The injuries to Kante and to Christensen, and the referee has given a free kick, I think quite right here, for a foul by Giroud in the centre circle, and he's fouled his man Matic. Free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, it was a free kick. I think you have to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the system. Went to the system which worked earlier this season. I think you said a couple of moments ago, Jonathan, De Gea hasn't been worked enough by Chelsea. But I suppose there are a couple of ways you can look at this game, and you think that Chelsea have been hard done by. You can't get away from the fact that United have impressed. They played with a zest and an energy.
And they're moments away from a third win this season against Chelsea. First team since Liverpool in 2011-2012 to come here twice and win in a single season, having won in the Carabao Cup. And they got the formation right, and they've done it right, as Chris was saying before the game. Let you into a little secret, everyone. He said he thought this is the way this is way before we knew the teams Manchester United would go this way against Chelsea tonight. So spot on, Christopher.
Well, in fairness, Statman Dave helped me with that. He knows everything about United. Thinks he knows everything about everything, which he doesn't, but he knows a lot about United.
Willian for Chelsea, desperate moments for them now, and he's made a long plunging run into the United half. His ball to Giroud, though, was intercepted by Luke Shaw.
Good, hasn't he, Luke Shaw?
Yeah, hasn't he been good?
Reading the game, mopping things up, got that yard of pace, hasn't he?
He's trotted back into his penalty area now as Chelsea take the throw in over his shoulder on the left-hand touchline. Can they conjure up something late here miraculously? Azpilicueta's cross is deflected off Matic. He's worked hard back at his old stomping ground, and it's a corner ball for Chelsea.
It has to be now.
They've had the ball in the United net twice, both ruled out. In comes the cross, headed away at the near post by United. James back into the middle. Manchester United can only clear back to Reece James. Pedro with a shot, hits Maguire, corner kick.
Once again, a thunderous shot from Pedro. 16 yards out, right-hand side of the box. Harry Maguire, right place, right time, got his body in the way.
I think Frank Lampard will say his team have done enough in the second half with the two disallowed goals to earn a point as the cross comes in. It's headed away by Harry Maguire. Fernandes will get his foot to it. James ducked in, Fernandes lifted his boot. He caught the young Chelsea fullback, and the Chelsea players are brandishing imaginary yellow cards. They won't put Fernandes booked. Then the referee is going to bring out a card. Let's look at this again on our little monitor.
Well, that's one of those. James is ducking down, but his foot is high. Fernandes lucky to get away with not seeing the yellow card.
They poured it on in this second half later on, Chelsea. But Defensively, they gifted Manchester United a couple of headed goals, and Manchester United, if they've got time, will give in debutant Ighalo, who's warming up, preparing to come in. Free kick meanwhile for Chelsea, 5 yards outside their penalty area. It's to the right of the box. James runs over it. Mount goes for goal. He's hit the post, whipped it in low. The hair got down late, has hurt himself, and he's down the Manchester United goalkeeper. Chelsea play on. James back into Jorginho, plays to Willian. The United goalkeeper is down. Willian crosses into the middle.
Stop the game.
The referee stopped it.
I mean, Chelsea a little bit naughty there, I do feel. They're down. Brilliant free kick, absolutely the same as Bruno Fernandes at the other end. Whips it round the wall. There's only a one-man wall. Mason Mount, similar position. Cannons off the left-hand post. Gare clatters into the post. And Chelsea played on.
He's hurt his shoulder. This is very reminiscent of the Tom Heaton injury the other week, when he that was up at Burnley, wasn't it, for the Villa, when he collided with the woodwork, and that's put him out for a long time. I don't think De Gea's as badly hurt as that, but he's certainly feeling his shoulder, and they're getting Romero ready just in case. But meanwhile, they're going to send on. Well, they won't be able to send him on because they're going to make two outfield substitutes.
Why would you when your goalkeeper, unless they're absolutely sure, but if he's in pain, they'd only be wise to make the one sub.
And Ighalo comes on for his Manchester United debut to replace Anthony Martial, the scorer of the first goal. And Ighalo, relief to be out there in action. He's been training by himself at the Manchester Taekwondo Centre, I believe, away from the Manchester United players, quarantined after coming back from China. And on he comes, the former Watford player whose goals dried up at Vicarage Road at the end, but he's on now. They've held back that second substitution. Hugo Dalot, the fullback, is waiting to come on. Big switch of play by Rudiger, headed away by Brandon Williams. That has left him with a bit of a shaky head, but he's now guarding against Willian, coming in from the right hand side for Chelsea. He's giving it away. Ighalo holds it up. Great roar from the Manchester United fans. Ighalo chases after a return ball down the left by Fernandes. Looks a little bit rusty, a little bit shy of pace, but strong. We know he has
He's gone early on him there, Jonathan. He's only been on for 30 seconds. The poor guy.
He's got to be rusty, isn't he? He hasn't played since early December.
Give him a minute.
Ighalo's going to come on now. Fernando's going to go on. Well, we talked about him before the game. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Well, I think he's been bright in patches. His delivery from set pieces has been sensational. Really has been. I'm not going to say he looks a snip at the minute. Encouraging.
I think there was a lot more to come from him. Although I have to admit, I've commentated on a lot of times at Sporting Lisbon, and I've never gone away thinking, wow. But I think he had a very good game. As Chris was saying, the delivery from him superb at times. Now here's James, brings the ball down, loses possession to Shaw, who's had a terrific night for Manchester United. He swapped passes with Ighalo, and now it's Manchester United. Pereira into the feet of Fred. He rushed the pass on, but he's snapping and snarling and pressurising Jorginho. Gets it back. Ighalo! One-on-one with a goalkeeper who saves with his legs. That would have been a moment.
What an opportunity for Ighalo. Fred put him through one-on-one with the keeper, 14 yards out, and just pokes the ball straight at Caballero.
United with possession. Fred down by the corner flag, pushes it in then to Pereira, and we're into 5 minutes of stoppage time, and Manchester United have possession at 2-0 up. Fred's cross is blocked there by James and looped up by Willian, and Giroud pressurises Matic, and it comes down to the French World Cup winner, and he switches it to pushes back to Jorginho, switches left, and Azpilicueta goes up for the gears. I'll tell you what, straight road race between he and Wan-Bissaka. He's got some guts to take on the fullback. There's only going to be one winner. Throw to Chelsea.
Some race there, two athletes. Wan-Bissaka though, electric.
Been good to see the two young fullbacks in action tonight. Here's the other one, James, the Chelsea right back. Chelsea have possession at 2-0 down on 5 live. Zuma on at half time as a substitute for the stricken Christensen. To Pedro, misplaced pass blocked by Pereira, ricochets to Giroud. Again he holds it up, again he makes good use of the ball. Finds James and out wide with a crossfield ball 60 yards away on the left is Azpilicueta. Switches feet, right foot up to the edge of the box. Giroud can't get off the ground. It trickles and trickles and trickles. It's kept in by Brandon Williams. And then he clears it straight back to a Chelsea player at 2-0 up away. Had he let the ball trickle out of play, his team would have had a goal kick.
Decision there, yeah.
Kovacic, centre circle. Edges the ball through to Mount, tries to cut it to Giroud finally, and it just spins through to big Harry Maguire, who turns it out of play. Look at the seats empty on the far side, Chris, on that lower tier West Stand. It's about third full now.
Well, they know. That's it. It's finished. They're not going to get back in this now.
What is that, 7 home defeats here this season, all competitions. Willian with a cross into the box, headed away, all poorly by Brandon Williams, and Wan-Bissaka will loop it up towards the halfway line where Rudiger is pressurised by Ighalo. There's his strength. That's what the Watford fans loved about him when he was in his pomp at Vicarage Road. 3 years out in China. Moved back to England, certainly raised a few eyebrows, and Manchester United will be glad to have given him some minutes on the field of play. Just a couple of minutes left now. Here's James. He finds Mason Mount down below us, right hand touchline. Chelsea have possession. Tidy sequence of passes. Back here then to Mount, right of centre, into the feet of Giroud, just outside the D. Back to Pedro. He's whipped it cleanly away to Willian. This is a good move by Chelsea. Willian attacks the box left hand side, cuts into the penalty area, pushes back to Pedro. Little drag back. Mount spoons it well wide at the end of a fine move, but it's the end of a fine night for Manchester United, who've come to Stamford Bridge and won with 2 goals. The first from Martial, a good header from a Wan-Bissaka cross. The second, a lovely header by Maguire. The big talking point, should Maguire have been on the field of play after tussling in the first half with Batshuayi and appearing to kick out with him? No card shown. And then Chelsea had 2 goals in the second half struck off. The first for a foul on Brandon Williams when it seemed that the Chelsea player had been pushed onto him by Fred, and then the second for offside against Giroud. A clearer, more sensible VAR decision that. But Chelsea here, beaten at home again. Stamford Bridge, no fortress this season for Frank Lampard, and the smile tonight, we're seeing him on our screen, belongs to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They won Mark by 2 goals.